Sean Strickland fights Dricus du Plessis this weekend at UFC 312, and I've got Sean Strickland going into this one. The first fight, I had Sean Strickland winning as well. I thought he won. I thought he won rounds 1, 2, and 5, but the judges didn't see it that way, and honestly, I was not one of those people crying robbery because it was a close fight. Dricus did do more damage. Dricus did land the harder shots, so you got to understand the difference between a robbery and a close fight. And there were also some very respectable minds in the world of MMA, Faraz Sahabi, Demetrius Johnson, who thought Dricus won the fight. So I want to know in the comment section below. I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but who did you guys have winning that first fight, and who do you have winning this weekend? Now, continuing on. Sean Strickland is in a fantastic mood, guys. This week is not like the Dricus week where Dricus was clearly under his skin. We had the Theo Von podcast where he's crying. We had all this lead up. We had all this ammunition for Dricus. Well, guess what? Dricus already used it. Dricus already used all of that ammo, and we saw the results of it, sure, but that does not haunt Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland has clearly turned the page from that moment in his life and is now revitalized, and here he is. And I gotta be honest with you, I'm really liking what I'm seeing. But the keys to victory for Sean Strickland, the keys to victory is, number one, first and foremost, he has to follow up the jab. His jab, he can land it on anybody. It's one of the best, if not the best right now in MMA. You got to follow it up, though. The jab is a setup punch. You could do a lot of damage with the jab. You could do a lot of work with the jab. But the jab is what gets everything else started. You land the jab, you can land a right hand to the body. You land a jab, you can land a right hand upstairs. You land a jab, you can land a right hand to the head, and then the leg kick followed up afterwards. You know, it sets everything up, and it allows for other pieces to develop and open. It's really one of the most beautiful tools in MMA, and you have to be educated to use it. And Sean Strickland is one of those people with the education to throw that jab out there. He knows what he's doing with that jab and the teep. Both of those are the entry ways, right? Both of those are the distance management. Both of those are one of the first primary attacks for someone, right? That teep, that jab. He just has to build off of it. And we've seen in the past, for example, the Paulo Costa fight, where instead of just throwing a simple jab right hand, he rather starts spamming flying front kicks. You know what I'm saying? Sean Strickland needs to get that under control for this fight, and Sean Strickland needs to follow up the jab. That's the most important thing. If Sean Strickland is going to win this fight, he has to throw more than just a jab and a teep against a guy like Dricus du Plessis, who's going to take pretty much everything else that follows up to it. And he's going to keep coming forward trying to deliver damage. And Dricus is reckless. It's a fight. Dricus already admitted. He said, hey, okay, I headbutted you. It's a fight. It is what it is. The referee didn't see it. You know, it wasn't intentional. You know, it's just a clash of heads. It happens. You see it in nature. You see it, you know, in the octagon as well. That could happen again. That 100% could happen again. There's scar tissue on that eye now. Dricus could even just punch that cut open now. You know, it's going to be easier to give him that cut now. But again, this is a very winnable fight for Sean Strickland. I am picking Sean Strickland. I think he gets it done, and we might see a trilogy. I really do. And if not, let's just say let's say Sean Strickland loses. Because of this, because of Sean Strickland's ability to give his opinion and get people fired up and make people cringe or make people really rally behind him, whichever one it is. Because Sean Strickland has that ability, Sean Strickland, much like Israel Adesanya, but for different reasons, Israel Adesanya built a legacy off of accomplishment. Sean Strickland just talks, and he's very polarizing. But it equals popularity, and because of that popularity, they're never too far removed from a title shot. You get me? Sean Strickland can lose this fight to Dricus. He could go on and beat Nasruddin Imavov again for the second time, or beat Paulo Costa for the second time, or maybe he fights like the Hamza Chimaev fight. Doesn't even need a title on the line for it to be huge. You get me? Uh, that's a huge fight the UFC could make, and it doesn't even need to be for a title. If you wanted to let Dricus fight somebody else, maybe Alex Pereira wants to cut to middleweight, or maybe he wants to move up to light heavyweight. He doesn't, right? Dricus wants to defend the title, but I'm just giving you hypothetical scenarios here, guys. If he wanted to do that, there's no doubt in my mind you can make Sean Strickland versus Chimaev 5-round main event somewhere, and that's going to be a hugely rated fight. And it might even do good as a pay-per-view, to be honest. It might even do good as a pay-per-view because Sean Strickland, if you promote him, he's going to say a lot of stuff. He's got the Australian media literally putting out a call to action for anyone to knock him out, which I thought was very crazy and reckless, but whatever. This guy right here generates a lot of hate towards himself, and you could turn that hate into money. People want to see the guy they hate get knocked out. You know what I mean? There definitely is something to that. So that's my take, man. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Sean Strickland. I like the the angle he's taking here too, the delayed, denied, deposed thing. He's doing the whole thing, man. He's doing it. The mustache was doing it this week. This is one of the best Sean Strickland fight weeks we've seen in a while, probably since the Adesanya fight. This is fantastic for him. I think everything's gone his way. Even when Dricus was like giving him comebacks, Dricus was kind of just coming off, I don't know, he was coming off like sassy kind of, whereas Strickland was just like, okay, dude, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay. All right. Didn't seem too bothered, whereas Dricus seemed like bothered, and that's where the response came from. The comeback came from the botheredness, you know what I mean? Whereas Strickland never felt bothered once. So yeah, that's pretty much it on this one, I think. Well, one last thing. The one criticism, if I had to give one for Sean Strickland, is the fact that he does like to throw stones. He likes to throw stones at people, and I'm against that. I don't think we should be throwing stones at people, and he really likes to do it. Sean Strickland really likes to point his finger at people and judge them and admonish them and tell them why they're wrong and, all this stuff. Look at the way he's talking about Khamzat Chimaev, right? When, you got to be careful, man, because you live in a glass house and people could take shots at you because there's a lot of material to work with here. But that same thing is the reason for his genius. It's the reason why he's never too far removed from a title shot. It's the reason why him versus Khamzat in a non-title fight would be probably the biggest fight the UFC could make in terms of hype and things like that. There's so many people from that part of the world that love Khamzat Chimaev, that are supporting Khamzat Chimaev, and would love to see Khamzat get a chance to shut this guy up. It's just what it is. I truly cannot wait for this weekend, but I want you to let me know what you think in the comments section below. Whether you agree, disagree, it does not matter. Just join the discussion, follow for more, leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent, and if you made it this far in the video, let me know in the comment section below, and if you went the distance. Thank you. You are all appreciated.